talk about this. The pressure on Joni Ernst. They were running commercials against her last week in Iowa, and she's up in 26. This pressure is intense on all of them.
Yeah, and look, one thing we know is what people say publicly and privately are very different. In Washington, certainly in Donald Trump's Republican Party, that's the case too. And Donald Trump is somebody who doesn't give points. He only takes them away one at a time. This is what senators are learning. And so ultimately, as we go through this process, it comes down to, if there is a floor vote, are you going to defy Donald Trump here? And Republicans overwhelmingly are not willing to do that.
And Joe, you've served in Congress at the same time as Tulsi Gabbard. She was well liked among many of her colleagues, they tell me that. But her lack of experience is being cited by Michael Hayden and John Cipher in the New York Times today. John Brennan just spoke to that. No experience knowing the difference between different sources and methods, the technical aspects of intelligence, and profound concerns about what she said about Assad, the secret visits, the praise for Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine.
Yeah, I think the entire intelligence community writ large has been really outspoken about that. Yeah, she is very personable and someone that I was always very friendly with as well in my time in the House. But there's been a real remarkable change in terms of her approach to politics writ large. I think much of that stems back to her visit to Syria and Assad during their very tumultuous time. So, I think what you see happening here is Trump, again, is putting forward projectability over capability. And when that happens, you lose a lot of credibility, I think, in terms of the approach here. These are important positions that are going to be critical to the survival of our country. And this is not a kid's game. This is not a TV show. This is real nuts and bolts government, and I don't think that Hegseth really is capable of that. And I think Tulsi Gabbard, who, again, I like her, but at the same time, recognize I don't think she has the experience that we need in this critical position.
What she's got going for her is her personableness, and the fact that having taken down Matt Gaetz, they will be even more reluctant, perhaps, to take her down. And Matt Gaetz was so despised by so many people that was going against him. Susan Page, Donald Trump picked billionaire Tom Barrack for ambassador to Turkey and Kimberly Guilfoyle for ambassador to Greece, raising a lot of eyebrows around town. They will need to be confirmed by the Senate, of course, but there are a lot of ambassadors, political appointees who are not terribly well qualified to get confirmed. You write that foreign leaders like Macron and Trudeau are not waiting for Donald Trump's term to begin. They're treating him like the president already.
That it's true. We traditionally had a practice of only one president at a time, but the world has moved on in some ways to Donald Trump as the president they're trying to cultivate favor with. We saw that with Justin Trudeau's remarkable private trip, private being that it wasn't announced, to Mar-a-Lago. He and Trump had a somewhat contentious relationship at times during Trump's first term. That is a sign of the willingness of leaders everywhere. Even the Prince of Wales to meet with Trump to try to build a relationship because they know it's going to be 4 tumultuous years ahead.
And Susan, when we get to these appointees, these ambassadors, Guilfoyle is a former prosecutor. She's the former wife of Governor Newsom, but most recently she has been the fiancée of Donald Trump Jr. and spoke at the RNC. To be in Greece, that's kind of interesting. And Turkey is now a central destination. Blinken is going there today, with Syria falling apart. So Tom Barrack, who led the inaugural committee last time and is a very wealthy colleague and friend of Donald Trump's, this would be the time to have a professional diplomat there.
Well, and of course, there's a tradition of sending professional diplomats to some of these very key posts. But there's also, I think, a general willingness to give the president who he wants in these diplomatic posts. It is a different standard, a lower standard, if you will, than when you're talking about the defense secretary or the director of national intelligence, in which I think you will see at least some debate about whether these are the nominees that the Senate really wants to confirm. But don't fool yourself. Donald Trump is in a very strong position. 53 Republican senators. He can lose 3 of them and still confirm whoever he wants, Andrea.